Hello, welcome back to 535. On the Hill today, we have a group called Bobbies for Change, and they're working for changes to the Affordable Care Act to make it easier for new moms who are also battling cancer. Joining me now is the founder and Laura Modi. Laura, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you are on Capitol Hill today lobbying, meeting with members of Congress. Just tell me why.
Okay. It is an unjust policy. It's not even just an error in a policy that's created. I think, frankly, it was just ignored. So rewind several years ago, 6 years ago, someone on my team came forward to me and said, we have to do something about this broken policy. Moms who had undergone a mastectomy to treat cancer were given a free breast pump by insurance, but they were dismissed of the coverage for formula or donor milk to be able to feed their babies. I mean, it's ignored. It is completely unjust, and we're here. We've co-created a bill, and to get this bill passed means insurance coverage will be given to donor milk and formula.
And it doesn't even sound like it would be more expensive.
That's exactly right. It really is about fixing the policy and shifting where that responsibility lies. This is a medical necessity. Something that most people don't fully internalize is that when you think of insurance, it's based on the individual's medical needs. So in this situation, a baby doesn't have a medical need. They are ignoring the medical need of the mother who's just undergone breast cancer, who's now not in a position to be able to produce milk. Those two things don't add up, and they are inextricably tied.
So you have some news. You got some bipartisan support for the bill, and it's going to be introduced soon. Is that right? What's the update?
So I'm very new to this. I run an infant formula company, but to come forward with an issue like this that is so clearly bipartisan, there is nothing more bipartisan than what it means to be able to feed babies.
Yeah.
And we've gotten immediate bipartisan support. Debbie Wasserman-Schultz and Ashley Hinson. And through this day where we've brought a lot of our Bobbie breasties directly to the Hill, they're sharing their stories. And these stories are so deeply personal. There hasn't been one person we met today that doesn't want to get behind supporting this. So it got introduced today. Or over the next 24 hours, she is being introduced, and we hope to get her passed.
So talk about some of the stories of the people who came with you today.
Okay, first I need to highlight Connie. Connie is what the bill is named after. This is Connie's Act, Connie's bill. Connie was part of our first cohort. Rewind 6 years ago, we actually started by sponsoring just, I think it was 5 moms in the first year. Fast forward today, we have now sponsored 615 babies through that journey.
What does that mean, sponsor?
What it means is, in absence of insurance being able to cover food to feed their baby, we as an infant formula company stepped in.
Okay.
So now we cover their infant formula costs for their entire year that is needed. And we will continue to do it until there's truly an insurance change made. But fighting to get this bill change is an act that demonstrates that they're being seen and that this bill has overlooked their own medical necessity. So I really think the act of getting this passed means so much more than the cost of it really at all.
Yeah.
So Connie, unfortunately, lost her life to cancer last year. Her husband was with us today, and he has been sharing her story, and the fact that if she was still with us here today, she would be in every single room fighting on behalf of every other mother.
Yeah.
And we're doing it on her honor.
Yeah. So talk about, are you getting any pushback at all from anyone that you talk to? Or is it more like, oh, well, that's nice, it's just not a priority?
You know, first thing, mothers don't see pushback. There is this fire in our bellies, and there's a fight in our heart. And when you're coming in with stories like this, I truly mean this. We've come forward with many issues over the years related to the shortage around infant formula or domestic manufacturing. And there's a lot of questions around that. This is one of those very clear bipartisan issues that is hard to see any fault with. And I think, again, beautifully, most people are going, oh, we don't need to fix the policy. It just was never considered in the first place. So I've been very impressed, and to give credit to a lot of the dual sides that we are moving between, they're context switching every hour and
Yeah.
every day, and to see them fully consume these stories and recognize someone in their life. You don't speak to anyone out there that doesn't have some woman, mother in their life that has undergone some sort of a cancer treatment or being diagnosed. So everyone relates.
Tell me how you first came across this.
Yeah.
Like, how did this come to your attention?
So this was moments before we had launched the company, and backing up, our DNA as a business has always been to fight for change. The story I don't think I've ever fully shared was that before I even named Bobbie, we called it Reform. It was about reforming an industry, reforming a conversation, reforming what we knew was fundamentally broken. How do you reform culture that is infant formula symbolic to so many other things? The fact that there's no paid leave, federal paid leave in this country, but we still are saying that breast milk is the gold standard. Then great, we should give them the time to be home with their babies and be able to feed them. There's a million issues we could go through. It was someone on my team who came forward and she said, Laura, I've just heard that a mother who's undergone a mastectomy was offered a free breast pump and sticky nipples, but was not given the insurance coverage. And she asked, this was days before we even launched our first product, and said, can we cover her for her whole journey? And that set off what was Bobbie for Change and our nonprofit in the business.
So you are willing to subsidize
Correct.
for 600 people, women, you
Yes.
said. What sort of impact does this have on the business? And is the change in the bill more symbolic in the sense that it is just important that people are recognized, or is it about the money?
It's both, right?
Uh-huh.
I think at first it's symbolic because it's a recognition of a moment in life for women where healthcare is often overlooked. And not only that, then mothers, and there's a lot of policies around mothers that are often overlooked. So this is symbolic to recognizing that at a time when someone's questioning their own future and existence, they're also welcoming life into this world. Those two things, you got to nurture the tension between those two things, and this policy is symbolic to a moment, a beautiful moment that they are going through that needs support. And then the cost is quite low. It is amazing for us to be able to do this as a private company, but at the end of the day, it is a healthcare issue. And insurance should be covering it. And like I said, I will continue to cover year after year for any mother here in the US that comes forward that needs it. And all that said, insurance should be doing it.
Another issue that you guys are very passionate and work on a lot is paid leave.
Yes.
So this is kind of a never-ending issue up here on the Hill. There has been incremental process and incremental change. Is there a specific part that you guys are absolutely focused on, and how has the evolution been over the past few years on that?
The incrementality approach is one of the most painful things to watch here. You start to become complacent to the fact that, again, we're one of the last remaining countries out there that has not passed federal leave, paid federal leave. That's embarrassing. And at some point, we need someone to come in saying, we're not going to nitpick some of these smaller details. It just needs to be passed. We shouldn't be questioning the cost, because the knock-on impact of that means that mothers can be mothers. They can go home and they can be able to breastfeed if they wish to do so. They can build a family unit. And from all of the women that we continue to speak to in families, some of them question even starting a family because of their inability to have the leave, the paid leave, to be able to do so. That is maybe more of like a qualitative piece that is hard to put an economic number behind, but we have to be able to look at what does it mean to be able to, I say this all the time, our democracy as a nation is only as strong as our ability to take care of our mothers in this country. And giving them the paid leave to be at home with their babies is one of the first and most important steps.
There's companies right now that are rolling back their paid leave benefits.
That is a separate topic for the fact that we are even in a position that companies feel that they're not getting the government support and assurance to be able to do this, and are actually moving in the wrong direction. We need more companies to unite. One of the things that we did several years ago is we open sourced our internal paid leave policy at Bobbie. And we have a leave that offers up to 12 months of leave, of which 4 months of that is paid. So not only do you get the paid leave, but if you need to be at home longer with your child and you need the assurance that you can come back to a job, you can do that. And by open sourcing the policy, we were able to give people the tools, the education, equip other companies to go, it's actually not that hard to do it. It is a commitment. And you can make that commitment.
Yeah, but people aren't making that commitment.
No.
So what would you say is changing in society, in the environment, that some companies are going backwards? I mean, you made the point about the incremental change, which is absolutely painful, but the fact that this is not a priority for some companies anymore, like major companies, I think it was Oracle was one of them. So just like from a holistic societal component, like, does that worry you?
Yeah, it worries me, but let me pinpoint why it should worry them. What that means is that they're not going to have representation around their table when they're questioning who they're designing for, who they're serving. What does it mean to be a holistic business and a holistic brand that is taking into the consideration of all of your customers and constituents? And if you are creating a culture that is not inviting a woman to want to join and be part of building what you're building, then you're not growing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a very myopic and reductionist view to assume that you can save a few dollars here. The knock-on impact of that means that you will not have representation around the table.
What's it been like being on Capitol Hill these days? I mean, you've come every year, correct, for the past 4 years?
The past 4 years, yeah.
Okay, so have you seen a shift or an evolution in how people are responding to you? And your issues, not you specifically, but your issues.
I think there's definitely something to be said for constantly showing up. And no matter who's in seat, no matter who the administration is, it is very important to remain centrist and to fight on behalf of the issue, not on behalf of who is, again, in seat and who is leading. And that is something that as we've moved from one administration to another at Bobbie and with our moms and coming to the Hill with our community, we continue to reinforce. We're here for the issue and we're going to find the policy. The reactions we're getting is they're recognizing that we're not here to pander to certain individuals or who is in seat. We are here about the issues. And that is getting an extremely beautiful response.
So you're getting response from Republicans as well on this issue?
Both sides.
Are you talking to mostly women or are men engaged too?
Actually, there's a few men engaged, a few dads. And like I said, you start to talk about breast cancer. It's very hard to meet someone who doesn't have someone within a certain degree in their life that they can point to and recognize the impact of this, or understand what it means to be in a hospital bed after just having a baby, and if someone come up to you giving you guidance on how to be able to breastfeed your child, and here we are sharing with them that this woman doesn't have the breast tissue to be able to pump milk, they are being overlooked. And to give massive credit to the dads who've been hearing this story, they have listened deeply. We've been passing out these booklets of hundreds and hundreds of stories. So as we're moving between these offices, we're handing over not just the bill content and the bill text, but hundreds of stories. And in the last, I want to say 30 hours, we have put out a call to action to the community to say, write your rep. We expected a few hundred. Here we are, less than a day and a half later, and we've received over 9,000 letters that have been written in to their reps and constituents.
That's amazing. Tell me about your jacket. If you guys can't see it, it says Bobbie Letterman jacket. They're
it is
so
a Bobbie
cute.
Letterman jacket, and it says Breasties on the back.
Oh.
And the nonprofit that we partnered up with is the Breasties. And to give massive shout out to this group for a nonprofit started by these gorgeous, beautiful women who had undergone, again, cancer, starting a family, many of them. We've partnered with them. So this is our Bobbie's Breasties jacket, and it is a fighter's jacket. We're here with our Letterman name to be able to say that we are here to fight on everyone's behalf, and we're going to do it kindly and graciously, but we're not going to give up.
Laura Modi, Bobbie for Change, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it today.
Yeah.